Well, as you can guess, it has occurred to us that this is coming, and that's part of the reason why we're doing the things that you see us doing. We're trying to prepare to find a way to keep Joe here and keep Chase here and keep Higgins here and keep Boyd here, for example. It's going to be a real challenge for us. And I sort of like how Mahomes said he doesn't care about what those guys are getting. He's set for life with what he's got. And why isn't that a good way to look at it, I'm thinking.
Yeah. All the oligarchs are going to think that. Yeah. They're all going to think that. And look, bottom line is, there's a hard salary cap, but the way that some teams skirt it is they don't spend up to it and they carry it over, and then they carry it over, and you'll see these obscene numbers like a team's got $100 million in cap space. Where'd that all come from? It came from the fact that they haven't been spending up to the cap, and it just rolls over and it rolls over and it rolls over, and that's money that stays in the pockets in many instances of ownership and not in the pockets of the players. So look, I got no problem with the guilt trip that gets applied to a quarterback to not be a pig at the trough when all the food is being dumped into the trough for all the other pigs. But when it's being withheld, that's when you have a problem. So are the Bengals going to spend up to the cap? Are they going to spend over the cap? Because you'll have some teams spend actually over the cap knowing the cap's going to keep going up. So we'll do what we have to do. But Chris, there's no way they're keeping all three of those receivers. They're not keeping Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. It's not going to happen because one of those guys will become a free agent and somebody else is going to offer them more than the Bengals will pay, and they're going to go take it. You're not going to keep everyone. So they should just hope that they can keep Burrow and Chase, and then you trust that you'll find other guys who can come in via the draft to replace Higgins and Boyd.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the number one and number two who you want to keep for sure. That's where it all starts. Joe Burrow for sure, Jamar Chase, no doubt about that. Hey, they might be able to keep T. Higgins too, but to your point, I don't think they can keep all three. That's where someone's going to fall by the wayside, or maybe it's T. Higgins that ends up going and Boyd end up staying, because I think Boyd is on his second contract already, right, Pete, if I remember correctly there. But it's hard. It's hard, but it's one of those things too, Mike. I think, you would agree with this. The time is now. Spend the money on the salary cap. You should be getting your return back as far as money, people coming to the stadium. I mean, you have a lightning rod of a player that everybody loves, wants to see, and the Bengals fans and fan base and everything there, they don't want to ever see Joe Burrow go. They haven't had this type of quarterback since, really, right? Boomer Esiason. He's the last guy that they've had like this. And Joe Burrow is showing the ability to even be better than a Boomer Esiason. And I don't say that lightly. He was an NFL MVP and went to a Super Bowl. But he's showing to be special. So, the Brown family needs to go all in here, spend all money, because it's not every day that you get this guy and you're in the opportunity to where you go, well, we can compete for a Super Bowl really for the next 5-8 years here with this kind of guy at quarterback. I hope they don't mess it up.
And as we mentioned yesterday, the Bengals, in a dramatic turn, an unexpected twist, selling the naming rights, or at least trying to, at Paul Brown Stadium. Why? They got to get with the times. If they're going to keep Joe Burrow, they've got to be ready to change the way they do business, period. And, Chris, I'm even more convinced after hearing what Mike Brown had to say yesterday, my prediction from yesterday, that Joe Burrow will be the guy who gets a percentage of the salary cap, that's the way to do a long-term deal to keep him in Cincinnati and to ensure that his contract doesn't continuously get leapfrogged. It's going to be a variable number. It's going to be somewhere between 15 and 18% of the salary cap. And Burrow, as I said, and I'm convinced he can do this, he can sit down and speak into a microphone at a press conference explaining why they did this and why it's fair for everyone and why this is the right way for him and for the team to have long-term security, because they know that of that 100 cents on the dollar they have every year under the cap, 15.876 or 16.235, whatever the final number is going to the quarterback. and it's certainty for everyone. Even though the number isn't certain, the percentage is, and that's the best way to be fair to everyone. And it leaves all that money left, all those 83, 84, 85 cents per dollar left for everyone else on the team. I'm more convinced that's going to happen.
I think it is a matter of time. Joe Burrow is one of those guys that at least I would circle to go, it might be the guy that it does happen. I do think there's some logic to it. I do think it can make life easy on a football team to a degree too, just to know. And then to know oh, wait, our quarterback's not going to be asking for a new contract 3 years from now, where we don't really know how to plan that yet. Well, you do if it's the percentage of the salary cap. You do. So I do see some logic there. But I also think it's one of those conversations like we've had with the Cleveland Browns this year too, where there's going to be the oligarchs aren't going to love that either. And that's who's going to be that first owner that goes out there and does it. What do you think? What?
Mike Brown's the one guy that would give him all the middle finger because he always votes against everything.
he does.
He really. Sure. So he's not going to care about others being pissed at him. He needs to keep Joe Burrow, and he doesn't want to do one of these big money contracts that – that's going to just turn everything upside down in the short term. He'd rather have something that's longer term. He wants that Mahomes deal. You want to get that Mahomes deal that lasts over a decade. The way to do it is lock in a percentage of the cap. And again, I think Burrow uniquely positioned to make that case. Mahomes could too if he wanted to.
No
Mahomes
doubt.
could too. The story, since we're in Let's Piss Off Agents Day, the whole story on the Mahomes contract is Lee Steinberg was hell-bent on getting $500 million. And he didn't care how it was structured or whether it was going to look good in 7 or 8 years. He just wanted to be able to say we got the first $500 million contract in sports history, or at least American sports history, whatever the case may be. Yeah, and remember we said at the time, hey, I'd like to announce I have a $500 million contract with NBC. Of course, it runs through the year 2500, but, we can all get there if we're willing to commit long enough. You can get to any number you want if you're willing to commit the rest of your life to it and beyond. So I think that's going to happen for the Bengals. And they're smart enough to know they can't let this kid go. They can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. Hey, for me, he's already one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. And he's just, touching the tip of the iceberg here as far as what he can be. Herbert, Burrow, they're stars. We already know it. They're going into year 3. We know who they are. They're only going to get better. And those are 2 guys, I think, to your point, Mike, that I look at to go, oh, maybe they do get that type of deal. Or at least they're 2 that I look at to go, oh, maybe they're the first ones. Let's keep our eye out. But I think that's going to be a big step in big NFL news when that day does happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.